Okay, good evening to you all. Today is 3rd February 2025, which is the beginning of our week 13 of this graduate IT employability skills bootcamp. Like always, we start by showing our outlines. That is what we are to cover for the day. So, in this week 13, I believe, yeah, we're going to have a recap on what we did on week 12. And we are also going to have today, we are going to have introduction to data sharing and reporting. And we'll also look at types of data reporting. That's what we are going to look at. And also we'll have talk about the best practices in creating a sharing, data sharing and reporting. We talk about that. And I'll show you some sample of how to use charts and graphs while making your report. So we'll look at that. Question and answer, conclusion, and then we call it a day. So this is what you're going to learn today. So it's more of theoretical aspect of this so that you will have an understanding of how to do that. Okay, so recap on week 13. I believe Ahmed took you through how to create graphs. All the graphs we discussed about the bar chart, column chart, pie chart, histogram, line chart. I believed he took you through all that and he showed you how to create such graphs. So I believe he showed you how to do that. And now today we are proceeding to this. Okay. So let's talk about data reporting and sharing. So I just put data reporting. I didn't put sharing, but it's all kind of the same. So when you are reporting something, it's like you're sharing it to people. So data reporting and sharing is kind of the last part or second to the last part of data cycle. That is whenever you finish all the gathering of the data, you process it, you analyze it, you visualize it. The next thing is for you to share the data. Sharing a data has a lot of things. The way you share the data to stakeholders is what will guide them to act based on what you share to them. For you to recommend a lot of things to them, to tell them what you discovered or insights you have discovered from the data you collected, from the data you analyzed. So that's what this data sharing and reporting is all about. So reporting this data is a big tax on you. You are the one to write a lot of things. You are the one to uh, tell them a lot of things. You are the one to explain a lot of things to them. All this is on you, is your tax, because I don't know if we discussed about the 4 questions that data analyst answered. I don't know if we discussed that. So all the all the questions that a data analyst answered, that has to do with whether descriptive analysis, whether the predictive, whether prescriptive, whether predictive, all these uh, type of data analytics, all the data analytics questions that you answered, you need to explain it to them why you arrived at a particular point. So this is what it's all about. And always when you are reporting your uh, data or you are reporting your result, make sure you are using a medium that is accessible to the people you are reporting to, something that they are familiar with, something that they can, work with, something that they can understand what you are saying. So that's what all this data reporting and sharing is all about. And this is to you. This is the end point. This is the last point that you are going to stop. So when you create your report, you create your conclusion, you create whatever you want to create. Once you submitted it to the stakeholders or to the people that assign the work to you, that's the end of you. Whether they use it or not, that's not your concern. You did your part and you allow them to do their part. So acting based on that is their own part, is stakeholders' part, because acting on the data is the final and is the aim of all this that you have been doing, right from collecting the data, right from analyzing it, visualizing it, and whatever. Acting based on that particular report is the end point of that. That's the one purpose of it. So that why you see, like, I don't know if it is this class. Don't worry. I have a lot of classes, so it's kind of confusing me. I don't know which class I discuss about this and which class I discuss about this. So we're holding like four classes or five. So uh, that way is just kind of confusing. So I don't know if I told you that all this that you are seeing, all this, and anything technology that you are seeing, the end result or the aim and purpose of it is always going back to data. Everything is going back to data. And what are they doing with the data is to create an informed decision. So that decision, acting based on that, is the end point of is you that will give them the report, and everything is them that they are going to act based on what you reported to them. So this is one of the things that you need to learn how to write this. And this data reporting is an experience. Not everybody knows how to do this. So data reporting alone, this data reporting and sharing a lot is a skill on its own. Someone is very eloquent and very good in data reporting. So if you give him your analysis or your visualization and ask him to interpret it for you, believe me, he will interpret it so eloquent to the extent that even you that conduct the analysis, you will not do it the way he did it. So is a very good skill that if you like, you can kind of work on your skills in that. Or data reporting and sharing is something that when you are talking about data, you are explaining things out of the data. People will understand and people will listen to whatever you are saying. That's why when you report the data, whatever it shows, whatever a particular graph is showing, you can explain a lot. And you can tell people that this particular graph can result to a particular something. So that's what it is all about. And not only all this data, all reports that you are going to do, you must base your report based on findings. And that findings are information, and that information is data. So whatever you are doing in this world, even all this citation that when you are writing report, you cite this, you tell, it's based on the data. So any information you are citing is showing that you are what? You are building your report on something solid, something you have a foundation, you have a basis that you are building your report on that. And that way you are saying whatever you are saying. So you are not just saying things out of the blue, just like that. You are not doing that. So you are saying a lot of things based on a data. And that way, in as much as you base your decision or you base your report based on a data, believe me, that report will be 100% accurate based on the data that you are reporting it. So that's why you see if you cite a particular book that so section says this, or so paragraph in a particular book said this, even if people go back to that book and check, they will still see what you have said, what you have quoted. So that way related to data also. So if you said this so data is telling us that this, even if people go back to that particular data and check, they will still find out what you have said and they will still believe in what you said. So this is about this, and that's what we are going to cover today, or we are going to discuss today. So there are lots of types of data reporting. So this data reporting, as you can see, there are different types of data reporting which you need to understand and you need to know about them. So all these are the types of data reporting that we have, and you can, whenever you are creating a report, ask yourself what type of report you are doing or you are writing, so that you will understand that this is where I'm heading to, or this is what I'm doing, or this is the type of report I'm about to give at the end of my analysis or at the end of everything. Like I told you, every data is saying a lot of things, and it always depends on how you look at the data or what you need to do with the data, or what you are about to do with the data. It always depends on that. So if you give me a data and I looked at the data, or I want to do something with the data different from what you want to do with it, our analysis and our reporting will differ, and we're going to do different things. So you need to understand all these different types of report that we have, and to help you to know that this is what you need to do and this is how you need to report that. So let's look at number one. We are going to talk about the informational or analytical report. You see, There is this analytical report, or just you can call it descriptive report, informational report, analytical report. It's all the same thing. It's just for you to bring out information about a data or about a particular something, maybe something that is within the data. That's what it is all about. Maybe I just want to know the number of, uh, for example, graduates within a particular local government, the number of, out of those graduates, the number of such, those that studied law, those that studied agri, those that studied medicine, and I want to know those that did private school, those that did public school. I want to know this. You see, all these are informational report, bringing out insights about the data. They are informational report. They are analytical report. So that's one thing about all these reports. Now, most of this time, sometimes reports are based on this. Most of the time, they are normally based on this. They're just bringing out this. There are number of females. There are number of males. There are number of graduates. There are number of married women. There are number of unmarried. Number of widows. Number of this. Number of this. All these are informational or analytical or descriptive reporting. So that's what you are reporting. So the next thing that we have is recommendation or justification report. So in this justification or recommendation report, now you are using the data for you to justify a particular concept or for you to talk about something, to justify a particular something. For example, for example, uh, there is an outbreak on something, or maybe something happened. You did a spending or you did a project. You need to justify something. You need to conduct it. You need to justify why you did it. It looks like informational, but it's not informational because this one you are focusing on justification. Hello, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I have to attend to something, please. So, a recommendation or justification report is based on, like I said, a particular you justifying something that happened, trying to tell reasons or trying to recommend things, all this that related to what already happened. So it's not you trying to bring out information about what happened or analyzing what happened. No, you're looking at the data, justifying why a particular something happened. So it can happen in a situation whereby, let me give you this example. In a So, for example, now let's say there is a shop. You have a shop, for example. Let me give you this. You have a shop, for example. Then, when you look at the data, maybe from January to March, you look at uh from January to April, you make a huge revenue. You generated a huge revenue. Maybe from May to August, you have very low revenue, and from September to December you have another huge revenue. So you need to conduct a research on this, looking at the data that you have, then to find out or to conduct a justification report or recommendation report on why do you have this trend in the data? Why? What are the causes? So you look at this, you now it's not about you knowing the profit, the loss, the average, all this is not about you bringing out the insight about the data. No, it's you now looking at the data to figure out why particular something happened within your data. You justify why do you have such revenue? Why do you have such particular revenue? So that what this justification is all about. Or something you want to recommend. like it can be a like I told you, maybe you have low revenue. Why do you have that low revenue? Then you recommend. So you need to recommend, you need to conduct, you need to give a recommendation to that particular reason why you have that. Maybe, okay, so I'm recommending within so month there is a rainy season, so we need to be buying this so that people will purchase this, not that, and the rest of it. So that's what it is all about. And we also have compliance report. So for the compliance report, uh, this is more of you reporting a particular data that qualifies some certain criteria. That's the compliance report. Just looking at the data to say that, yeah, the maybe the participant have all the requirement, the participant has all the experience, or the participant are all indigent, the participants are all this. So it's just more of compliance. Just for you to clean the data and create a report on the compliance of that particular data that you report. So that's for it. So compliance can be maybe looking at, maybe it's you, maybe a particular state give you a data to create a report on all the association or organization that are within the state, for you to bring back a report how many of them maybe qualifies to perform within that particular state or qualifies to do something. So you look at that, it's just a compliance report that you are bringing, then you write a report based on that. Please keep understand all this that I'm saying, because whenever you apply a report on something that is not required from you, you are just like beating around the bush, saying things that are unnecessary and irrelevant of what you are needed to report. So that's why you need to understand all this and know, okay, what type of report am I writing? Or what type of report I need to look at, so that I will focus on that and bring what I want to bring. Then we have feasibility report. So feasibility report has to do with, like, it's just like evaluation. It's just like for you to evaluate something, evaluate a particular situation to look at whether something is possible to happen or is possible to be applied within a particular context. That's what this feasibility report is all about. Is for you to look at, to evaluate something to see that, okay, can we do this or not? Maybe let's say I want to train secondary school students. Maybe I'll conduct a feasibility report on that, or feasibility analysis on that, to see that is it feasible or not feasible for me to hold a data analytics bootcamp or data analytics webinar for secondary school student. So I'll look at the possibility of doing that. Can we do it? Can we execute the plan or not? Is it even possible at this time or not? What are the, factors that maybe prevent us from doing it and all the rest? So that's the possibility. So possibility focus on you evaluating a particular uh, situation to see whether something is feasible or something is not feasible. So it's all different from all this that we discussed. If you look at it, so you understand all these types of reports. So the next thing is investigative report. So investigative report is just like the way the name entails, but it's kind of a very deep report of you trying to understand, for you trying to understand the causes. That is to diagnose why something happened. So that's what this investigative report is all about. It's for you to diagnose that, for you to get the causes that lead to particular something. What are the causes? Why did it happen? So that's the investigative report. Okay, now there is outbreak of cholera, for example, or there is outbreak of any virus or something like that. You look at what are the causes, what lead to that. So you need to look at that. You need to investigate that. So based on when you are looking at your data, you look at the data carefully and see the pattern and see why did something happen. You look at it, you figure out the pattern on that, and you talk about that. So when you look at the high rate of something, okay, the high rate of this is what caused this, and the high rate of this is. So sometimes it's you trying to correlate the data or trying to correlate the variables within the data to figure out for you to figure out this investigative report. So it's something that are kind of more technical in that. For example, let me explain this to you. High cost of private schools, high cost of school fees of private school will surely, definitely will lead to failure of maybe jam or other exams. It will lead to that. And it will definitely lead to why you don't have a lot of people in university going to university. Or why you don't have people studying big course at the university. Because they did what do we call it? They went to uh public schools and the rest. So if you look a lot of people studying medicine, law, engineering, and whatever courses that you want, you didn't find out that. Then you look at the high rate of maybe school fees, you look at that. Then you look at maybe lack of number of maybe good school or maybe private schools, or maybe lack of this, lack of that within the data. So you can all investigate that to figure out the causes that lead to a particular something. So in your report, when you are reporting, you will explain it. The reason why all these students failed a particular exam, it has to do with this, or it has to do with this. So this is what is happening. Now there is something that issue of all this can you hear me? My network just check. So I'm sorry. I'm sharing my screen back. If you can see it, let me know so we can continue. Can you see my screen? Okay. Okay, so there is this issue of this investigative report. Sometimes, even when you are discussing with people, you learn about this investigative report on why, what are the causes behind a lot of people doing what they are doing. Because you see, some of the people, if you tell them why they are not focusing on to study well, or why they are not focusing to learn things, they will tell you, even if they graduated, they cannot get a job. Some people will tell you this reason, they will give you this reason. They have nowhere to get the job. They have nowhere to do this. They have all this. All these are the kind of, you see, there are a lot of things. There are a lot of reasons when you are doing all this investigative report or you are reporting based on that. You will see the pattern. You will see why something is related to something. That's why there is a program we did. We got like 2 or 3 females or something like that. We need to conduct that report. We need to conduct that report to see why did we get 2 to 3 females? Why? And we understand the reason behind that and we rectify the issue and we move forward. That way, when we are having the program, we can get enough females that we want. So it's all has to do with that. You thinking of what's investigate on why did something happen. And there is even our postgraduate, first secondary school boot camp, we postponed the boot camp because of the low turnout of the people, and we realized the problem. We know the problem. Why do we get that? When we are about to start the program. We know the problem, we know why it happens, and we rectify the issue. And when we are done with that, then we come back and we continue. So that's what this investigative report is all about. And the next report we are going to talk about is key performance indicators report. That is the KPI report. KPI report has to do with a measurement report. Let me tell you this. Whenever you are, for example, you are into the monitoring and evaluation field, whenever there is a project, you see, part of the project document, there is a log frame. And in log frame, you need to develop things that has to do with all the goals, the objectives of the project, the outcome, the input, the output, the indicators. You see, all these are the things that you as a monitoring and evaluator, you need to develop that. So that indicators that you developed, they are the measurements of your what of your activity or your project. You want to know that whether your project is going the way you want it to go or not. So that way you create such performance indicators for you to evaluate what you are implementing, what you are doing. They are just there to help you measure the performance of your project. So there is a report that you conduct a report or you create a report based on this key KPI that you have. That's the report. To know which KPI you are performing better or which KPI you are having underperformance. Maybe number of pregnant women, or number of outpatients consultation, or number of this, number of that. All this that you are doing, you are trying to know whether you achieved that or not. So maybe you want to know you have females and males on that, or you have boys and girls on that. You are measuring them. You are measuring them. So maybe females you are targeting 200, males you are targeting 200 or 300, for example. So this report of KPI, you are just evaluating such indicators that you have to know whether you achieve them or not. So that's what this KPI report is all about. Don't worry, some of you one day you will come about all this KPI, but I'm just trying to tell you that there is a report on this KPI, which the report is not based on the activities or based on what you are doing or based on all this that I'm discussing about. It's just based on such KPIs, just for you to see the performance, the measurement of that, for you to measure the performance of your indicators that you have been working with, whether to know that whether you achieved a particular outcome or not. So that's what this KPI report is all about. So we have a report that is periodic and research report. These are two reports that we have. The periodic report is just a report for you to evaluate something within a particular period of time. All this report that we are doing, the weekly report, the monthly report, the quarterly report, semi-annual report, all these biannual report if you want it, or annual report, all these are periodic report for you to measure the performance within a particular period of time. That's the report. Maybe, okay, I want to conduct a periodic report between 2010 to 2020 to see how many graduates we have within a particular state. So that's a periodic report. So I want to compare the report between 2000 to 2010, 2010 to 2020. I want to see which year we have much graduates and we have this. That's the periodic report. So it's more of kind of a research on something because it has to do with previous data. It has to do with the past. And there is, or it can be within a something that just happens, like I told you, after a quarter, you conduct analysis between that quarter, you conduct another analysis after another quarter, you conduct another analysis on that. So it's just a periodic report that you are conducting. So these are the different reports that you can write, and each report that you see here is always depend on the data and always depend on the task at hand. Whenever you are going to do something, is already always related to that. So you need to know right from when to collect a data, or sometimes the data was just given to you, and once you look at the data, or you listen to what you were asked to do based on the data, or you look at the data and the variable within the data, can tell yourself that, okay, this is the type of the report I'm about to write, or this is the type of report that I will focus on to conduct. But take note, sometimes there are certain data that when you are conducting the report, you can have two or three of these types that we have from the report you are going to create, or based on the data that you have, you can go ahead and create a report based on that. So you can have the feasibility, you can have the KPI, but take note, not all the time, please, so that you will not go sometime and mess things up. You don't need to do that, because there are certain reports that, especially this feasibility report, it has nothing to do with activities. So it's normally on baseline survey or baseline tips, where you are just conducting it to assess something, just on assessment things and the rest. So don't go maybe after implementation of a particular activity, they spend money on that, and you just come back and start telling them the area is not even secured for you to do the activity while the activity was conducted already. So you see, you will just sound kind of you don't know what you are doing at all, because you cannot go and start reporting. They cannot even conduct the activity. They can't conduct activity within a particular location with the activity was conducted already. You were asked to maybe give an informational or analytical report, and you go ahead and keep talking about feasibility, or you start talking about compliance. You don't have this, you did not go to this, or you didn't do this, and the rest. Please, you should take note on this, so that when you are writing a report, you know where to focus on, and you know what to write and what to focus on. Okay, so these are the types, and this is what we will discuss. So the next thing we'll talk about this best practices in writing your report. So let's look at them and talk about that. There are best practices that you need to learn. Sorry, my network again. Okay, can you hear me, please? So these are the best practices that you need to adopt whenever you are writing your report. And the first one is make sure there is introduction in your report. Give a brief introduction about the data and why the report. So please, it's something that you can just have a page to have introduction to that, so that the audience or the people that are with you or the people you are presenting the data with, they'll understand what the data is all about and why you are conducting or why you are giving them the report. So that's number one thing. The second thing is for you to give them the analysis report. So use your visualizations. All the visualization you have done, what all those charts, bring them in your slide, put them there. Don't worry. Next week we'll focus on that, how to create a slide, how to create all this report. We'll focus on that. Next week we'll do that. But it's just today you need to understand this. So in your analysis, use your visualizations, the charts and the graphs. Make sure you use them. There are certain data that does not need the graph or the chart. Maybe it's just in a row, maybe number of something, total number of something. So in that way, you can use infographics for you to show that, so that it will looks nice and it will looks great in that. So that's something that you need to do also. So the challenges, you have to state some challenges, if any. Of course, in your report, you need to state some challenges. What are the challenges you face right from maybe collecting the data, or right from developing the questionnaire, or right from maybe during the field work, or during the implementation, or during the analysis? There are a lot of issues that you can get. Maybe they are nonchalant of the maybe enumerators, or maybe it can be error in a lot of things, or maybe others. There are many things that can be challenged, which you can speak out the challenge during your report. Make sure you have that. Whenever you write a challenge, whenever you specify challenge, make sure you complement them with recommendation. If you have 10 challenge, you must have 10 recommendation. If you have 5 challenge, you must have 5 recommendations. So each challenge that you mention, any challenge you mention, you must have a recommendation to that challenge. That's how it works. So don't just come and bring challenges like that, and you fail to mention a recommendation to that challenge. So if you said there is a challenge on maybe maybe low turnout, or maybe error in the data, then what is the recommendation to that error, or to that challenge? So you recommend. So so you are advising so things should happen, or so measures should be taken, so that to avoid other things like that. So that's how it works. So in any report, make sure you did this. So that way, don't just come and be like social media noisemakers. Just come and just keep stating problems. This is what a lot of people are doing, especially now. You see how people are doing in social media. There are people that 90% of them, the only thing they are good at is just to come and talk about problem. They'll talk about issues, they'll talk about problems, they'll talk about challenges. And if you look at the what if you look at them in particular, they are part of the challenge. They are part of the problem, because they cannot recommend anything. They can say whatever rubbish they want to say, they can say it. But at the end of the day, there is no any recommendation from them, and they are not doing anything. Some of them are even living abroad, so they are not living within the context of Nigeria. So they just kept throwing things just like that, trying to provoke people, trying to say things that are not kind of the way they're supposed to. So whenever you bring out a problem, that way, if you don't have recommendation to a problem, don't talk about it. That means the problem is bigger than you. Don't even talk about it if you don't have recommendation to it. So unless you have a solution to something, go and look for the solution. Once you saw a problem, think of the solution. Then you talk about it, then you bring the solution. Or in your text or in your write up, then you bring out the. It doesn't mean that if you talk about the solution, doesn't mean you have the solution at hand or you can do it alone. Sometimes you can recommend. Someone will see your recommendation is okay. He'll call you. Okay, you said this can be done. Yeah, but I don't have means to do that. Then you can say, okay, let me fund you if you can do it, or let's just have a team if you can do it and just doing it like that. That's how it works. That's how it works. And you sound a reasonable person. But you can't just go ahead and start just mentioning problems, mentioning issues, just mentioning challenges, and you don't have any solution, whatever. You don't have any solution to the challenges you are mentioning. So it's just like you are part of the problem. You are part of the problem. So make sure you have a way forward, you have recommendation, and you need to be objective in that. You need to be very objective in that. So don't be subjective. You need to be objective. So when you are bringing out the recommendations, be objective. That's how it is. So that's for the recommendation and challenges. So the next thing is then you have a conclusion, then you summarize everything at the end of your report. You give the final conclusion and you call it a day also. So that's how these are the best practices. And whenever you are writing your report, this is how five things you need to put at your back of your mind. That is the introduction. Then you go to analysis report, challenges, recommendations, and then what? And then conclusion. So this is it. That's how you need to, whenever you are writing any report, whenever you are writing anything, even on social media, make sure as you are writing, you are bringing out solution to what you are writing. You call out, you say something, you bring out solution to something, you talk about that. So that way in your report, any type of report you chose there, you must have a recommendation at the end. If you have a challenges, you bring out the challenges. You don't, then you go ahead and write your way forward or your whatever you have. Then you conclude, and then that's all. That how the report supposed to looks like. So some sample, let me show you some samples of how to use charts. Since you learn charts, of course, all of you learn charts. You know how to create the graphs, you know how to do all that, I believe. So this is how you use some of them. So the reason why I show you all these, sometimes you don't need to show it. You just need to show it like this. Look at the number of participants per state. Look at it like this. So we have all the state, Adamawa, Bauchi, Borno, FCT, Gombe. By looking at it, you know which state has the highest. You know which state has the lowest or which state has the this. Just you explain this. So sometimes, don't worry. Sometimes by showing this, if you are to present, I just show you this. If you are to present your report, just create it like this. But if you are not to present your report, then you need to write a description of this particular chart that you have under it. So beneath this chart, you need to talk about this. Maybe looking at this particular graph, Kano State has the highest participant, followed by Kaduna, followed by Zamfara, followed by this, and so state, maybe Lagos, Nasarawa, Taraba, Kwara. They have the lowest participant within the program. That shows that this. Then you explain, you talk about it. That's how it is. That's how it works. Within one page, you explain everything. So that's how it is. So you see another one. So you can use this, you can use this. This is the bar chart and this is the column chart. You all know the difference and I believe you know how to do that. So we have the pie chart. This is how the pie chart count of qualification. And you see maybe this is how the qualification looks like. So we have the BSc with the highest participant. So the highest participant have BSc. These are the reason why whenever I have a webinar or I have a program, even if I have the intention of doing it in Hausa, once I saw the highest participant have BSc, then I'll just conclude that, okay, let's speak in English. Let's do it in English. Why? Because if the highest number of the participant, that is 86 of them, they have this BSc, look at it. So no need for you to waste your time just to talk to them in Hausa language, because in as much as you have BSc, the assumption is that you cannot understand English, at least. Whatever, even if it is Cotonou BSc that you have, definitely you can at least understand what somebody or someone is saying in English. Because in Cotonou, I don't think they can teach you in any language than that. So followed by diploma. You see, the diploma, they are the second after BSc. So those with diploma, then those with that. The next one is those with SSC and the rest. So this is how it looks like. So you explain that. Then we have the count of qualification. I just create another one, another graph like that, and this is how it shows for you. I don't know if you treat this one, and don't worry, just part of the graphs like that. And we have this level of computer literacy. So the intermediate people are the highest number, followed by the expert, followed by the beginner. So it shows that when you understand the level of the people that you are interacting with, it will tell you how deep you are going to go in explaining things to them. So if they are, you see, they are not beginners. Beginners are the second in the number of people that you are dealing with. So the intermediate, that means intermediate, they have some like basics of what you are going to teach them. So they have the basics of computer literacy at least, and you have expert, but they are all the highest number of the participants are not beginners. But if the highest number are beginners, the highest numbers are beginner. So you need to calm down, you need to explain low, you need to do this. This is all what these charts are telling you. So we have this computer literacy based on states. So if you look at it, each state has its own number of people that have the computer literacy. You see this how it looks like. So the expert are in green, the expert are in yellow, while this beginner are in this color. I don't even know the name of the color, and the intermediate are in green color. So this is how it looks like, and this is what this chart is showing you. So we have the qualification by state. It's just a table. You can just copy the table sometimes and show it in your report. And this qualification also by state: the BSc, diploma, HND, MSc, NCE, SSC, non-total, and whatever. This is how it looks like, and this is it. So this is how you use this, some samples on how you can use your graphs in your report, and you just keep explaining, and you just keep telling people what you have done so far. So this is it, and that's what we are going to discuss today. If you have questions, please ask your questions. If you don't, we call it a week, and uh, uh, we meet next week. So if you have questions, please go ahead and ask your questions. Okay, please, I can hear you. Go ahead if you have question. If you have question, you ask your question so that I'll respond to it. So with this, please, you can go ahead and start. Yeah, you can go ahead and start writing reports, even in Microsoft Word, not only in PowerPoint like this, because we'll treat PowerPoint. That's the last thing that we are going to treat, because I don't think you did it. So we'll talk about it. We'll see how to create slides, how to create maybe interactive slides, all this thing. We'll look at how to do that next week. So after next week, I think we'll give you custom project, and then we call it a day. So we round up everything after next week, because next week is week 14. So we are finishing on week 15. So yeah. So we'll give you capstone project, and we call it a day after. Okay, no any question, please. Okay. Okay, let me see. I saw some charts. Key performance indicator. Someone was asking about KPI. That's the key performance indicators. That's the KPI. Someone was saying I have a complaint. I haven't seen my weekly assignment for last week class. Please, I don't even know. Have you attended last week class? That's the question. Have you attended the last week class? These are the people that they did not attend the class. Maybe he did not know what we have done. There is no way we Okay, I'm sorry, my network is very, very bad. So maybe let's call it a week. So we meet next week to talk about the PowerPoint, and then we kind of wrap up everything. Thank you. See you next week and have a wonderful dream. Bye bye.